Hello and welcome to episode 229 of WITM, in which Corey will be in action against Drew McIntyre in the main event, a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. Unfortunately, the card, of course, has been updated because, unfortunately, Michael Holt has decided to no longer be a part of WITM. So, obviously, he will not. Corey's match has taken the match that he was originally scheduled on. Before that, NXT General Manager William Regal, back from his vacation, is in the ring, microphone in hand. Let's hear what he has to say. William Regal speaks. As you can see, I am back from much needed time with family and friends back home in Blackpool, England. And from what I hear, it seems there was a lot of buzz surrounding last week when NXT Champion and 205 Live General Manager Andrew ran the show last week. I would like to address that. So, Andrew, if you would, could you please make your way down to the ring? Regal continues to speak to Andrew. Now, Andrew, it seems you did a pretty good job running things last week. Though, I am not sure how I feel about you forcing two titles to be defended with just a few hours' notice to the defending champions without defending your own title. The NXT universe is still buzzing about last week's show. However, we have a problem. And that problem has to do with what occurred off screen last week. Or rather, behind the scenes last week. And there is some footage of what occurred behind the scenes last week. Let's get to that. And we see Andrew backstage during last week's NXT. Knocks on the door of William Regal's office. Nobody is inside. And he locks it behind him. Regal continues. What I am talking about occurred right after that footage. Or rather, must have occurred right after that footage. See, when I tried to enter my office this afternoon, I found it was locked. When the door was finally unlocked and opened, I found most of my things missing and replaced with pictures of you and your name on my desk. Now, Andrew, I appreciate everything you've done for NXT and all the sacrifices you've made for NXT. But NXT is my show, and I can't let what you've done go without consequences. So, as I'm sure you expected, at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, you will defend the NXT Championship, but will not be against one opponent, or two, or three, but against all top 5 contenders to your NXT Championship, and NXT's first ever Armageddon Hell in a Cell match, in which odds are you will wrestle your final match inside of an NXT ring. Andrew responds, I understand. And well, if that truly is my last match, then I had fun training the young talent and showing them different styles of wrestling. But you were right. I don't have any business trying to do your job. William, you are excellent at teaching people great gimmicks and making magic happen for wrestlers. So you are right. I'm not in the same league as you. My specialty is spotting high-flying talent. But let's cut to the chase. You have every right to put me in that 6-man Hell in a Cell match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn for my NXT Championship. But just in case I lose, I want to thank you for giving me a chance to train and wrestle here in NXT.
It's now time for our main event. Singles action on tap right now. We have one of our breakout talents in a match for the record books.
In one moment, sounds like I'm feedbacking a little bit. There we go. Alright, so huge announcement for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, as Andrew will be defending his NXT Championship, the only thing keeping him part of the NXT roster, with 205 Live talents now being exclusive to 205 Live against 5 other men inside of NXT's first ever Hell in a Cell matchup, an Armageddon, a 6-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell for Andrew's NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. These 2 men wrestling in the main event, Corey especially, would love to be part of that 6-man Hell in a Cell matchup. The magic number is now 5, as William Regal announced it will be the top 5 contenders to the NXT Championship participating in that matchup against Andrew for the NXT title. And we have somewhat of a dream matchup here, as some little known history is in part of WITM Season 1, as well as Corey's time as the Independents. He referred to himself as the Chosen One, the Chosen One being a meaning of the name Corey. Drew McIntyre, of course, in his previous stint with the WWE for a period, was the Chosen One of the chairman of the board himself, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and was given an Intercontinental title opportunity because of that. So Chosen One versus Chosen One. Corey will have to go without Andrew, the NXT champion, at ringside, as this is a hardcore matchup. Can Corey extend his winning streak to 3 against Drew McIntyre in a hardcore Falls Count Anywhere matchup? Let's find out here in episode 229's matchup. Let's get underway.
We got one-on-one action coming your way next. Gonna be good. We have one of the best talents on the roster to date versus a formidable opponent.
Oh, man. I can't wait to see these two go at it.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring. From Pennsylvania, weighing in at 299 pounds.
This one's going to be electric.
Which one of these two will walk away with the win? We'll find out as this one gets underway in mere moments.
And his opponent, from Scotland, weighing in at 256 pounds, Drew
Singles action on the way, and the WWE Universe is showing their support.
Yeah, they're on their feet. They're ready for this one. I don't know about you, but I fully expect this match to steal the show.
And here we go. It's Chosen One versus Chosen One. Corey versus Drew McIntyre. Both men looking to rise into the top 5 of the NXT Championship rankings and be a part of that just announced 6-man Hell in a Cell for Corey. That NXT Championship, of course. His ticket back to the main roster, where he was, where last time he was there, he was WWE Champion. And we're wasting no time taking advantage of the hardcore stipulation. Corey has struggled in Falls Count Anywhere matches in the past. But with Andrew at his side, he has risen to 2-0 and up to number 10 in the rankings. With some of Andrew's training in the back of his mind, can Corey extend his winning streak to 3 and climb closer to that top 5, if not inside the top 5.
No lie, he's wild in there.
Corey with a reversal to McIntyre. Forces McIntyre to his feet, kicks to the stomach.
Anything else?
Fortunately, McIntyre no longer using that, as I'm sure Andrew noticed, no longer using that awesome theme he had back in 2010 when he was called the Chosen One, Broken Dreams. Be nice to see him use that again if and when he makes it back to the main roster. Corey with an Irish whip into the barricade. Now hammering away with heavy rights at Drew McIntyre. McIntyre avoids the stomp, but there's a kick to the stomach. Irish whip into the barricade. Corey really trying to use a combination of his Taekwondo style and the environment to rack up damage on McIntyre. But McIntyre reverses. Now looking for a weapon. He has a baseball bat. And it cracks over the back of Corey. Now the legs. But reversal by Corey, again using environmental damage. Irish whipping McIntyre into the corner and going for a cover. And McIntyre powers on it too. Kick to the back. Series of elbow strikes to the head of McIntyre.
And that's the way he has to be if he wants to win here tonight.
Stomp to the legs. Stomp to the chest. Series of heavy rights and planting the face of McIntyre into the
Everything from the floor to the barricades can and will be used to inflict pain.
Slam by McIntyre. Stomp to the knee. There's another stomp. Reversal by Corey. Now Corey in control of that bat that McIntyre brought into play, and he connects to the leg and stomp to the leg. Showing a little bit of that training from Andrew, making a target somewhat on the leg of McIntyre. Something that Andrew loves to do. Neckbreaker to Corey by McIntyre. Stomp to the arm. Corey avoids another stomp. Again, reversal by McIntyre. Russian leg sweep. McIntyre looking to target legs to Corey, and reversal by Corey straight into a cover. And McIntyre's going to power out barely at 2. Reversal by McIntyre. And a
After a move
suplex.
like that, he's going to need to see a chiropractor or a spine specialist, whatever he's comfortable with. No pun intended, of course.
Series
He's
of
not gonna be comfortable for
punches
a
to the head of Corey.
You can practically
Now
feel
McIntyre
the
back
wear
in
and
control of that
tear that's been
baseball
done
bat.
throughout this match. Oh, not again.
And
Not
connects to the
again.
head of
He-
Corey.
My God, his body's
And he
been
throws
through
it
hell
down.
in his ribs.
Forces
Boy,
Corey up,
the
knee to the
attack.
And I
head.
hope we can get a doctor out here as a precaution. Damaged ribs like that can make it hard to
Misses
breathe.
with a kick, but connects with a second one. Irish whip into the ring post. And now playing the head of
Look at the
McIntyre
attack
into the
here.
post again.
Oh, man.
Trying to
Talk about
use
a
environmental
direct hit.
damage as an equalizer. Stomps to the back of the leg. Forces McIntyre up. Irish whip into the barricade. We get a very close-up view of that. And a close-up view of this as well. A spine buster into a cover.
I think this is it.
And Corey's going to power out at 2.
Man,
Stomp to the head. Corey's busted open. That wound he sustained last week in Michael Holt's final WITM match.
Looking for the win.
McIntyre
The finality of this
with a
environment
pile
is so
driver.
apparent, King. I don't know about
Plunging that
but
blade
this
head
era
of
is
Corey
so dangerous.
into the thin man outside. Now, again, targeting that head.
Look at those eyes.
And
Oh,
he's
yeah, this could be
McIntyre
big.
thinking future shock DDT.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go.
And
Well,
that's
once you
going to
get out of the ring,
connect.
anything can happen. You've got exposed steel, concrete, the barricade.
McIntyre goes for a cover.
Let's do this.
And
there's the pinfall.
the modest 2-match winning streak of Corey is snapped. It's Drew McIntyre with the victory.
Here's your winner, Drew McIntyre.
Alright, so unfortunately Corey struggles in hardcore matches without Andrew ringside is going to continue, as it's going to be a victory for Drew McIntyre. And Corey will unfortunately slide outside of the top 10. We'll take a look at that and the other NXT rankings. As I again back all the way out into the main menu. Alright, so let's see how those results affect the rankings for NXT as we inch closer and closer to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Starting as usual with the women. Ember Moon defeated Ruby Riott. Ember Moon becomes the #1 contender to the NXT Women's Championship. And Ruby Riott falls to number 4. In the top 5 contenders to the NXT Women's Championship held by Alicia Fox are #1 Ember Moon, #2 Naomi, #3 Nikki Cross, #4 Ruby Riott, and #5 Peyton Royce. And now the NXT Tag Team Division. Breezango defeated TM61. Breezango to number 3. And then TM61 falls to 3, so Breezango moving up 2 spots to number 2. Sanity defeated the Singh Brothers. No changes there. Sanity already champions, and Singh Brothers at the bottom, number 4. And the top 4 contenders to NXT Tag Team Championships held by Sanity Our number 1, Heavy Machinery. Number 2, Brazongo. Number 3, TM61. And number 4, the Singh Brothers. And now the NXT singles rankings. Tyler Bate defeated Hideo Itami. Bate moves up to number 13. Itami falls to number 16. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Trent Seven, Oney Lorcan, and Goldust. Ciampa is going to move into that now very important top 5. Seven falls to 15. But Strong lost as well, and so did Tommy. So Andrade Almas, without even wrestling this week, going to move up 3 spots, number 14. Oney Lorcan falls to number 4. And Goldust moves down to the bottom, number 19. Johnny Gargano defeated Roderick Strong. Gargano moves up to the number 1 contendership. Roderick Strong, but Tommy lost as well, so R-Truth is going to move up 2 spots without wrestling this week to number 16. Strong falls to 17, Tommy to 18. And Drew McIntyre defeated Corey, so Corey's chances of getting an NXT title opportunity at TakeOver Brooklyn, while not impossible, looking dim, as he's going to fall down 3 spots to number 13. Of course, 5 being the magic number. And the top 5 contenders to the NXT Championship held by, and I didn't move McIntyre up, there we go. The top 5 contenders to the NXT Championship held by Andrew are number 1, Johnny Gargano, number 2, Eric Young, number 3, Ty Dillinger, number 4, Oney Lorcan, number 5, Tommaso Ciampa, and Corey, as mentioned before, sits at number 13, 8 spots away from the top 5 and being included in that 6-man Hell in a Cell. Still with 3 weeks left to go, so 3 weeks to gain 8 spots. It makes about pretty much a must-win situation for Corey for the next 3 weeks. Now we advance to Raw's portion main event. Gerald is the Intercontinental Champion, so he will not be participating on main events, and so we will sim that. And we'll jot down those results and see how that affects the rankings on Raw. Braun Strowman defeats Kalisto. Rusev defeats Elias Sampson and Luke Harper. The Authors of Pain defeat the Hype Bros. And we'll see how that affects the Raw rankings. Starting with the Raw Tag Team Division. Authors of Pain defeat Hype Bros. Authors of Pain remain number 1 contenders. Hype Bros fall to number 5. And the top 5 contenders to the Raw Tag Team titles, held by Cesaro and Sheamus, are number 1, Authors of Pain. Number 2, New Day. Number 3, Revival. Number 4, Miz Taraj. And number 5, Hype Bros. And now the Intercontinental title rankings. Braun Strowman defeated Kalisto. Strowman moves up to number 19. Kalisto falls to 15. But Luke Harper lost as well. So Eric Rowan, without wrestling this week, moves up 2 spots. Actually moves up 3 spots because Elias Sampson lost. And the top 5 contenders to the Intercontinental title held by Gerald. Number 1, Sheamus. Number 2, Bobby Roode. Number 3, Miz. Number 4, Xavier Woods. Number 5, Big E. And there were no matches in the Universal title rankings, I believe. Alright, so we move on to SmackDown's portion of the main event. We'll see if Dalton Roush is in action. And we see him pictured right there, so indeed he will be. And he's going to be taking on Dolph Ziggler in a one-on-one matchup. So that's going to do it for episode number 229 of WITM. Until 2:30, this is Corey, signing off.